Hey everybody, good morning. Joel Rico here with the Language of Agreement. And as usual, Tuesday mornings we're doing a little quickie cram session and give you some tools that hopefully you can put into action this week. So today we're going to talk a little bit about objection handling. So what does that mean? Like briefly, what does that mean, objection handling? Well, first of all, what's an objection? Is it in a courtroom when somebody says like, I object? It probably doesn't show up that way. So how does it show up? In our world, in the world of sales, usually objections show up as a request that wasn't your intention, right? You're reviewing the comps and you think the house is worth, it looks like about 500,000, and the client says 500,000, but we want 600,000, or the other agent told us 600,000. So technically this could be an objection. It's literally just a difference of opinion. When you're not at a win-win, when you're not at a meeting of the minds, you and the client, you and the prospect have a different idea of how to move forward, that could be a stopping point. A couple of ways of looking at the objection frame. Is it that the client thinks you're wrong and they're attacking you? Oh, well, if you think about it that way, what's going to happen? Right? If you think that an objection is the client making you wrong and coming after you, how are you going to respond? Right? You're going to protect yourself and defend yourself and make them wrong. Oh, what a mess. What if instead you consider that objections are merely something you didn't fully explain yet, merely a question that you haven't yet answered? So when we think of objections like this, it makes it easy for us to say, let's talk about that. Just simply thinking about them from a position of it's a misunderstanding, it's something we haven't spoken about yet. Just thinking about them like that changes the whole dynamic in which we respond. So that's step one. Step two is when we're thinking about objections, here's the tricky one. Are we working to be right? Like, what happens when a client says, oh my God, that commission, are you kidding me? That's way too much money. Okay, is that right or is that wrong? I don't know. The quicker you let go of right and wrong, and the faster you attach yourself to, they see it one way and I see it a different way, I understand that way, I can appreciate this way, and we start seeing that no matter what the issue is, there's lots and lots and lots of ways to look at it. Just thinking about objections like that also will change and soften the way we approach them. All right, so all that aside, here's the most basic solution on how to solve an objection. And when I say solve an objection, it's not my intention to make them wrong. It's not my intention to prove myself right. I'm a pretty good salesperson. And I'm pretty detailed, and I'm, like if we're talking about list price, I'm pretty good at going through the comps and showing this house sold for this much per square foot, this one didn't sell, look at how long this was on the market. I'm pretty good at demonstrating what value should be. And yet, if the client has a different opinion than I do, and I spend 20, 30, 40 minutes proving that I'm right, what am I really doing? Well, I'm actually proving that they're wrong. And even if I'm right, I just made them wrong. And even though I'm right on the number, most likely lost the client. So here's the real trick. Here's the real thing with objection handling. How do we make them right and still move to some sort of a win-win solution that's going to work? Right? That's really the key. So I want to start by making them right. Hence the name of my workshop is called The Language of Agreement. I want to make them right. I want to start by modeling agreement. The more that I agree with them, the more they're going to be open to agree with me. The more I shut them down, the more they're going to protect and defend themselves. The more I try to prove myself right, the more they're going to defend their positions. So instead, I want to make them right. So step one, there's 3 steps. Step one of the process is take their side. Take their side, agree with them. Even if I don't agree with them, I'm going to say, oh, I understand how you would see it that way. Oh, that's a great question. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, a lot of people feel that way. I see how you'd get that impression. Sure. Sure, lots of agents would tell you a big price. Of course, I'm just finding the place in their position in which I can authentically agree, right? What if they say, oh my God, I hate salespeople. You salespeople make way too much money. You're like snake oil salesmen. Oh God, salespeople, right? I don't agree with that. Yet what's true about what they just said? I don't know yet. Yeah, some salespeople are like that. I know, I run into them too. Now, I'm not going to take ownership of that yet. I'm going to find the piece of their position that I do agree with. Why? Because I want to start with agreement. Okay, so step one is start with agreement. Take their side. Let them know that you're on the same page. All right, step two is offer a new perspective. Well, have you looked at it this way? What if we considered this? The new perspective, step two, might be a question. How are we going to solve this problem? If we list it for 100,000 above the comps, how are we going to get buyers to come see it when they could have that one for 100,000 less? So step two is open up the aperture a little bit. Maybe educate them. Maybe enroll them into a new thought. Maybe have you considered this? Maybe, how exactly do we solve that? Something to get them to think bigger and open up their perspective a bit. Now, again, my goal, step one is I'm going to find some agreement. Step two, I'm going to enroll them to think bigger. Hey, have you thought of this? My goal in step two is when they say, oh, I didn't think about it that way. Oh, that's a good point. Once I get some agreement from them in step two, and they say, oh, wow, that's a good point. Once I get that, step three. And step three is a simple request to ask them to move forward. Great, so should we price it here and get it sold? Great, so you probably want to do the right thing and follow the market, and let's get you moved. Whatever it is, some sort of request to get them to step forward. Now, again, the process is step one, step two, step three. Now, at the end of step three, there's really only two options. Either they're going to say, yeah, okay, great, where do I sign? Let's do it. Or they're going to have a deeper issue or a different issue. Okay, then what do you do? Back up to the top, repeat step one. Oh, that's a good issue too. Thanks for bringing that up. And have you thought about it like this? How do we solve that problem? What if we looked at it this way? If we looked at it this way, look how we could solve it. And they go, oh, that's a really good point. You say, great, that's why I recommended it. Let's go ahead and do the right thing and get you sold and get you moved, whatever that is. All right, so one more time, quick recap. Step one, find the thing in their position that you can authentically agree with. Don't lie, don't make crap up, don't do that ever, 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 ever. Find the place where you do agree and say, oh, that's a great question. That's a great point. I can appreciate you bringing that up. Whatever it is, find the place where you do agree. Step two, open up the aperture. Have you considered this? What if we try this? Have you thought about like this way? Well, if we do it that way, how do we solve this problem? Or if we do it my way, do you see that we're going to get these results? What if we try, whatever it is, I'm going to open up and have them, I want to expand. What they're doing is they're saying this is the right thing right here, right here. And I want to say, oh, but what about all of this? My step two, I want to open and expand. And so they go, oh, I didn't think about that, right? That's really them agreeing with me, right? Why? Because I agreed with them first. Now, oh, that's a good point. Now they're agreeing with me. And right there in that moment when they agree with me, I'm going to say, yeah, so let's go ahead and accept this counteroffer and get you into the house that you really love, or whatever your close is, and move them one step forward. It might not be sign the contract. It might be, great. Let's go look at this house first and we'll take that one off the list. Whatever it is, step three is have them step forward, one step forward. So that's it. I do my very best to keep these at 10 minutes. My clock just said we're at 9.5. So thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't already been there, please go to the site and check out thelanguageofagreement.com. There's some video clips like this. There's some free trainings. There's some free download stuff. doing my best to change the reputation of salespeople. Salespeople are not snake oil salesmen. Remember, we're the ones that brought silks and spices to the new world. Salespeople are the ones that match goods and services to need and desire. We're the ones that push the progress in the economy forward. It's because of salespeople matching buyers and sellers that we have progress. So come check out the site. My next live, interactive, hands-on teletraining happens on April 10th. So if you're interested in that, check that's on the site too. And as usual, thanks for tuning in, and go make a difference in the world. We'll see you very soon. Have a great day.